Okay, so let's discuss. We have the Atari Game Station Go. It finally came out on around September 25th or so. The console has an HDMI port, so you can hook up to the TV. We have like a bunch of controls here with access lighting. Of course, like this is only a short introduction. We'll get to the main part, unboxing later, and the XYAB also like on the box you can see they're sort of transparent, and there's good reason for that. I think even the numeric keypad over here is transparent. On this side we have the Joy-Con, a D-pad, and a trackball. Yes, that's a trackball, all with accent lighting. And the way this works is, and I love the color scheme, you gotta admit, that's a good one. The accent lighting will light up based on the game you're playing and the controls you actually need to use the game. So yeah, this should be interesting. Opening up the box, we can see a bunch of games or game art, or screenshots actually. You have the first row is Recharge, and that's basically classic games that have been revamped with graphics in it. We have Recharge Asteroids, Berserk, Breakout, Centipede, and finally, Missile Command. On the bottom below that, we have a new release that's done for 16-bit consoles like Atari, called Balls of Steel. This is a themed pinball game. Of course, the themes we have here have a lot of relation to old 8-bit gaming, Barbarian, Centipede, Darkside, Devil's Island, Firestorm, Missile Command, and the last one being Mutation. Also, this came with a special, inclusion of the ever-wonderful Pac-Man. And we have the Atari 2600 version, you remember that, the clunky old one, that we all have here. And also we have the classic version, both in regular and in speed-up mode. So, yeah, that's a thing. We also have a bunch of other games in here, like Adventure, Circus, Regular Missile Command, Crystal Castles, Night Driver, Air Sea Battle, Agent X. Yeah, we can go on. Frog Pond, Demons to Diamonds, Radar Lock, Real Sports, Secret Quest, Food Fight, Basketball, Baseball, Solaris, Sun Cycle, Haunted House, Bowling, Human Cannonball, Tempest. I mean, we basically got the whole 9 yards. And we have a whole list down here, including the consoles they're associated with. We have a bunch of Atari 2600 games, Atari 5200, 7800, Arcade Classic. We have the Atari Recharge versions listed again. Both is stale, Pac-Man, of course. And then we have third-party publishers, Jaleco, both 816 and an arcade gaming list, as well as Pico 816 and arcade gaming list. These include things like, Bases Loaded, City Connection, Pinball Quest, Hammerlock Wrestling, Brawl Brothers, Arabato, Avenging Spirit, Cruisin', Sky Fox, that sort of stuff. And, yeah, I mean, so I think what I want to discuss more about this is the fact that, retro gameplay is becoming a thing again. And there's good reason, because if you spent any time in, modern gaming, you know very well that modern gaming is done with a lot of, pay-for-play DLC that's downloadable content that really makes the game less fun. You're basically, you might as well be talking about paying your rent at that point. You have to put in that much money to play a game. And it's really ridiculous at this point. So what this does is you unplug the games from the, outside influences and the outside money scam. And this is being done by a lot of them. But also, it unplugs the device from the control of the company. For example, most notorious has been Nintendo, with their ability to brick a Switch 2, when you do as little as mod your Switch 2 with one thing or another. But even if you don't mod it, and it's not even that, I've heard people sell their old Switches, and then the person who bought that old Switch does something, and then their Switch 2 gets, bricked, so they can't even use the thing. Which, honestly, if you're going to mod it, you accept some risk, and if Nintendo wants to, ban you out of the game store after that, that's, a you and them thing. But to brick hardware you already paid for is a little bit of ridiculous stuff, and I think Nintendo, doing things like this and suing people over what are preposterous reasons is kind of the microcosm of what's happening with gaming right now. And it's not just Nintendo, Microsoft is getting in their own gear, and so is Sony, and I think they'll all start coming at some point soon, because it's they're just used to being able to rake in so much money. And the idea is you have to pay just to, play past the basic intro, which is, ridiculous. If you buy a game, you should be able to play it to its full potential, and not have to, spend half your salary just to, get past the basics. But that is exactly what's happening. So I'm going to do the unboxing with this, but also coming up, I have 2 videos of Pac-Man World 1 and Pac-Man World 2 repack. And I didn't even know about this till I saw a content creator doing a video on the upcoming Pac-Man World 2 repack. Or actually, I was watching them for something else, but then they went into Pac-Man World 2. And so it's sort of it's the Pac-Man World series is what the future of gaming should have been. And that's why I want to do a video on it, and we'll do some discussions around it. Because really, it's fun, it doesn't require a heavy amount of DLC, and yet it incorporates all the future graphics, and that make gaming great. Of course, it's not available for this console, or at least not that I know of. But, so this plays like 2600, 5200, 7800, certain arcade titles, and that's about it officially. However, from what I understand, there are unofficial means to get other games from other consoles during the era onto this, which I think is a little interesting, because, like, you have, Food Fight on here, but you also have the Intellivision version of Food Fight, which is really cool. You have a lot of, like, ColecoVision titles, which I think would play great on here. And just, like, so, first we'll do the unboxing, then I'll, like, research how and if I'm interested in expanding this. And in the meantime, we'll also do the Pac-Man World 1 and Pac-Man World 2, and we might even do, like, a Quake 1 Custom Team Fortress video, because I did a video of that, I think it was, like, a year or two ago, but it was almost a dead lobby, but it's supposedly enjoying a resurgence of the genre, and I think that's cool if it's true, because the one benefit of, like, having that game or having these is, like, if you haven't paid attention, you don't know, but, like, online gaming now is to the point, like, the amount of money you have to spend in downloadable content just to, like, play the game, not to, like, do basic tutorial stuff, but to actually get some enjoyment, is equivalent to what you would pay for a mortgage for a house, which in my mind is preposterous. I mean, I think it's preposterous you should pay for any virtual content that you don't physically own, let alone the amount you would pay to mortgage a house is beyond, like, ridiculous, but this is where we are. So games like Quake or retro gaming like the Atari are becoming popular once again for obvious reasons, because, let's be honest, who wants to pay that much? And these games were fun. They actually gave enjoyment. And again, the whole thing with current modern gaming, if you've been in it, is it's a lot of work. In a lot of games, if you don't log in every day and do everything, you miss changes, you miss updates, things change quickly, and you need to keep up in order to keep playing the game. So it's not only money that got you with, it's time. And that's sort of like, it really is preposterous. Like, I only have one real modern game in this sphere, and I'm seriously thinking of quitting it now, because it's just every time I turn around, it's something else. It's a new update, it's a new feature, it's a new thing you have to compete. And I'm not going to discuss what the genre of the game is, or, like, what the name is, because, like, I don't want to, like, give props to it, but my point is, they're just, like, vying for your attention and money at ridiculous levels. And things like this bring it back to grassroots, bring it back to the point of what gaming was really about. You plugged in to enjoy yourself, and then you plugged out to live life again. And so we're going to unbox this, we're going to take a look at this. I think what I'll do is I'll hook up to TV for, like, video of the actual games, but then we'll do, like, we'll have video of the console itself, and we'll talk about that. But I really, yeah, it's getting disturbing what's out there. And then it's even hitting games like Animal Farm and Mario World, and it's like, why? What could you possibly need to monetize that much in Mario World? It's supposed to be for a bunch of 10-year-olds. Like, I'm absolutely stupefied. Like, it bona fide bewilders me. But aside from that, I hope you're all doing well. Remember, you're all loved, valued, and appreciated. And I will see you on the flip side.